It's not going to be a record.
January meeting of the Pelican Marsh Board of Directors. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Okey-dokey. Paul, can you call the roll, please? Certify the quorum and offer proof of notice.
Okay, we have Matt Barger, Karen Gilmartin, Steve Burke, Nathaniel Monks, Pat Kepke, Brian Colin, and Margie Cassia, all present, full quorum, and notice was posted in accordance with Florida statute.
Excellent, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the December meeting?
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So, January, here. We have, as everyone probably knows at this point, our restaurant is open, Portside. And by all accounts, it's doing very well. So we're getting really positive reviews in food, service. Brad and the gang seem to be really happy here, which is helpful. And they are running a 11 to 9 schedule right now and doing well. So I encourage you guys all to all check it out. It looks like these guys are doing it right. A lot of experience. We're really on a related note, the parking has been a bit of an issue here of late. And I think that it would be really prudent for people who are planning to come for events or athletic contests or any kind of group endeavor to carpool, because we're going to be having some parking challenges in the afternoons. We've already had a few times where there weren't any parking spaces to be had. And you know, individuals coming, if they live next door to each other, or you know, it's easy for them to kind of pick up a few people in a car, would really help us out. So I would like people to kind of think about that possibly. And that's it. So let's move on with the treasurer's report, Nathaniel.
All right. What we're going to do today is the year-end treasurer's report for 2022. And so this won't take long because essentially I'm just going to kind of run over what I've already told you in piecemeal last year. On page 1 here, we've got our financial highlights on the screen where you can see it. For the operational expenses, we ended 57,470 over budget. This was mostly due to costs that were unexpectedly high due to inflation, such as payroll, and the big whammy was insurance. Several different expenses, even janitorial supplies were way higher than we had guessed. And so so that's for the running here at the foundation, 57,000 over budget. Fitness and court sports, you can see, are actually a little better than budget. And social activities, we try to flush that out so that it comes out. We try to make it break even every year. And sometimes it's ahead or behind, just waiting on tickets to get reimbursed or something. But so it should always be like it is, breaking even. Food and beverage, that's the big whammy, 406,000 in the hole. But the bright side is that even though we were a little worried about our estimation of 75 houses selling last year with nothing for sale on January 1, we obviously exceeded that by 29. And we're already selling houses in January. But I expect the first half of this year to be slower than the first half of last year, because everybody's going through this price adjustment. But I think it'll make up for it in the second half of the year. So later on, don't be worried if it looks like in March or something we're not really selling a lot of houses. That will fix itself, I believe, in September. Let's go to page 2, please. Page 2 is a snapshot of our accounts, where they all finished at the end of the year. Our operating fund is mostly that's money where people had paid their assessments before December 31. That's 2023 money. The replacement fund is fully funded, as I've mentioned more than once. We packed that really fast first of the year and got that done. back in May last year, so we didn't have to put another dollar in the rest of the year. The capital fund, it decreased, of course, because of our investments into food and beverage. Next page. This is our activity centers. Okay, that's just a bunch of big confusing numbers. Don't look at those. Next page. Just kidding. Okay, the activity centers, this shows how we did in all the different activity centers. And generally speaking, I thought we had 2019 on that thing and we dropped it, didn't we? Generally speaking, though, because COVID made comparing to the previous year, both this year and last year and the previous year was kind of difficult. So when we compared it to 2019, the last real normal year, things are back in line, looking mostly normal, except for it does appear that indoors, there is still maybe a little bit of hesitancy to do all the things indoors that we did in 2019. So there might be there's still a little soft on spending in the fitness arena indoors, but everything outside and around, everything's going good. And as I can tell you, food and beverage is going good this week. So I think that everything will be fine. Everything on here is just kind of a detail of what I told you on page 2. Page 4. This is just the resale fees. As you know, we have last year we had a $6,000 resale fee. We could see over at the bottom left-hand corner we had one holdover from before that took a long time to close the house, and they paid the very old rate of $4,500. And then up at the top left-hand side, you can see the refunds of 10. That means 114 people bought houses, but 10 of you were Pelican Marsh people. We ended up with 104 instead of 75. That was very nice. And so we have that extra 100 and Mercy, I believe it's 174,000. Paul, do you remember off the top of your head how much we are over budget?
172.5.
There it is, 172.5 that we were over budget thanks to the good sales, and that continued. That's all I have for today.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Very good report. Okay, Paul, how about the foundation management?
Okay, so as people in definitely can see, notice is upon us now with all the activity happening around the community center. Kind of pick it back on what Steve said earlier about the parking issues we have now with being so busy. If you can't carpool up with your friends or walk, you have to drive, please make sure you're parking within the parking lines so we can utilize every space available in the parking lot. I've been in a few out and people are parking crooked and picking up 2 spots. So we need to make sure you're staying in the spots. And if you do get here and there's no parking available, we do have the overflow parking on the west side of the tennis courts. And I'll be sending out a map later this week to show how to get there from your car. And if you can't find a parking space in the lot. It's just been a few days since we've opened up courtside, but they're off to a great start, as Steve said. I've been in contact with the staff daily, and I can tell you they're very excited to be here at Pelican Marsh, and they look forward to meeting everyone. In fact, they've met a lot of people several days in a row because they're constant customers, which is great. They do ask, though, that members are patient with them in the beginning because they have a new staff. They're trying to get acclimated to the area. And the new system, the POS system, they inherited from us. So just give them a little patience and time. And if your service is slow at first, just be patient. And they're getting ramped up pretty fast. And before you know it, they'll be up to speed. So they appreciate your patience. The CDD had their monthly meeting. Meeting was yesterday. They did report that the construction for the new gatehouses is finally going to start in March. The first gatehouse will be with the Vanderbilt Beach Road entrance, followed by the airport entrance around July, and then finishing out the 41 entrance around November of this year. And in addition to redoing the gatehouses, building new gatehouses, we're also going to be redoing the signage, the monument signs. So we should have a great, fresh new look here by 2024. As a reminder, as everyone's made their New Year's resolutions, to remind them, don't forget to have your home checked for any maintenance and cleaning that's needed. Just a reminder that Pelican Marsh rules do require that all homes are kept clean and maintained. And we appreciate everyone doing this and being a good neighbor to keep their home looking its best so Pelican Marsh looks its best. Also a reminder, this time of year brings out a lot of residents who are biking, walking, and throughout the community. So when you're driving, please make sure you're following the speed limit and making full stops at all the stop signs to keep everyone safe this year. Please make sure that we have your current email address and other contact information so we can keep you updated on what's happening in Pelican Marshes all year round. And if we don't have your information, please see the admin office and they'll get you updated as soon as possible. Lastly, the staff appreciates everyone's help and support, especially in this busy fun-filled season. And certainly we always welcome comments and suggestions that you may have so we can make improvements where needed. And that's my report.
Thank you, Paul. Do we have a tennis advisory committee board today, Paul?
We will. Ralph is on the line.
So committee reports, we're going to hear from the TAC. Ralph Cassia, the chairman.
Ralph, are you ready to report? Just have to unmute yourself.
I'm here and ready to report. Only issue is it's telling me, Paul, that you're not going to see my face unless you decide to push a button to allow me to do that. So you all hearing me okay? Are you all hearing me?
Yes.
All right. I'm not getting a visual. So it says you need to make a change on that to make that happen, but I'll move forward and hopefully we can get you the information that everybody needs. Thanks for an opportunity to talk briefly about the work of the Tennis Advisory Committee. I've had the good fortune of having this gig for about the last 6 months, and the community is blessed with an extraordinary committee. Ann DeSelding, Rich Benson, Tanya Dom, Orlando Farrar, Melinda Reed, Nancy Spiewak, and our board liaison, Karen Gilmartin, have been extraordinary partners to really do everything they can to help us to maximize the tennis experience here in the community with Johan. When I found myself with responsibility for this committee, the goal of the committees was really the goal of the committee was really our primary driver, and the goal as the committee saw it, and I think it was informed with conversations with the board and also comments by members of the community, is really how do we maximize utilization of our courts in a way that results in Pelican Marsh residents playing the most and playing during the times of the day that are most attractive to them. We also focused on whether or not the process by which we allocate courts here in the community is fair and efficient. There was a strong sense over time that courts were going to some people at the expense of others, and there was concern about that. And much like the utilization issue, the focus was how can we work to establish policies and procedures that yield the kind of results that we want for the community. It has been a largely data-driven analysis. Orlando Ferrer, Ann DeSelding, and Johan have worked tirelessly to put together detailed and comprehensive analyses of who's using our court, at what time, when are the peak points of utilization, what are the implications of team play, what is the implication of the group play, what is the implications of the usage of our courts by guests, how is all of this affected by cancellations. All of this designed, again, to try to get us to a point where we are making informed recommendations to the board that, again, maximizes the experience for the residents in our community. And as a result of that, over the course of the year, a number of recommendations were made to the board, some of which the board followed, some of which the board modified, and others which I believe are still under consideration, both going to guest policies, league play, policies regarding team play, the definition of season, and the like. We're continuing that. This is an ongoing process. It is not a one and done. We determined that the lottery that we currently have in place is a fair one. And until such time as the board and the community implements its sort of holistic approach to sort of scheduling and the like, we think it's a process that is fair. We've concluded that our groups are critically important to our tennis community. But again, want to stress that this is a work in progress. And it's not surprising as you're around the tennis courts and you talk to people. The nice thing about opinions is that everybody has one. We are doing our best to try to hear the various voices, the voices of the different constituencies, and to work in a manner, again, that is designed to give the board informed recommendations so that this board can ultimately make a decision as to what they think is in the best interest of our community. In addition to utilization, the second, I would say the last third of the year, our committee turned to issues relating to the maintenance of our courts. Again, we recognize that we are not a management and oversight committee. Our role is to provide advice both to the board and suggestions to Johan. And the effect of that in this most recent, this is really over the last couple of 3 months, was we really worked hard to hear from our players, from people that are using the courts as to those sort of things that could be improved with respect to sort of our day-to-day operational and maintenance. And we made a recommendation to Paul, forwarded it along to Karen, and the effect of that was a very detailed implementation of a maintenance policy by Johan, which he has, effectuated to remarkably good results in a very, very short period of time. He's established a policy to continue to check on things, make sure that things are being properly documented when they're brought to his attention. And we feel very, very good that those recommendations have yielded practices that I think are going to inure long-term to the benefit of the community. As we move forward into 2023, the committee is beginning to sort of set its agenda, recognizing that when all is said and done, the thing that we need is to hear from not only the board, but from our community as to the things that they would like us to address. But to the extent that we currently have a game plan for the upcoming year, it's to continue to monitor the utilization reports, the cancellation reports, the usage reports, so that we can make a determination as to whether or not the policies and the procedures that have been recommended are working or should be changed. Obviously, nothing is written in stone. So continuing that is important, and Johan reports to us on those issues monthly. We're turning our attention to suggestions and recommendations with respect to facility improvement. And again, we recognize these are ultimately board decisions, but we've had the good fortune to spend some time with Paul and to sort of highlight a few things that we think are of value and that merit consideration with respect to improving our facility. That goes to issues with respect to landscaping, that goes to issues with respect to the resurfacing of a couple of our courts. It goes to a new TV monitor, which I understand the board already authorized the funds for purposes of improving communications with our membership, and goes to things like our windscreens, possibly new racks for bags and the like, and a nice healthy improvement and upgrade to our bathrooms. These are all obviously things that are board determinations. We've talked to Paul about them. These are things that we've heard from the community. These are suggestions, and we're looking for opportunities as to how we can best assist the board to effectuate some of these things. We're going to continue to focus on communication with respect to what's happening around the program. I think, to the extent that Johan can do a better job on something, he can do a better job on taking a victory lap on some of the things that he is doing for this community. We don't communicate successes anywhere near as well as we should. That's going to be something I think you'll see a manifestly different approach to that as we move forward. We're jealous of how effectively the pickleball community communicates to their members. We're looking at that, quite frankly, in some respects, as a model for us. We recently established a subcommittee of TAC that will be focusing on communications. Melinda Reed is going to be owning that for us. And I think you'll see a nice positive improvement in terms of both the number and the quality of communication to our members. There'll be a real effort to engage through all different forms of social media so we can maximize the experience. It is entirely, again, derivative of the good work that Johan and our board has done with respect to hiring as it relates to our tennis shop. The hiring of Ali has been, I think, a borderline, a masterstroke in terms of improving the quality of the goods and the services that are offered in the pro shop. There have been some fun suggestions that members of our community have had to sort of highlight that. And we're going to hope to continue to offer ideas and comments and suggestions to ensure that we're getting everything we can out of that experience. In addition to having her experience in retail, Ali also has been very, very helpful to Johan in terms of marketing events and promoting events. And then last but not least, and this is all obviously intertwined with many of the other things that we've talked about, Johan has an ambitious slate of events for the tennis community. There are a number of things that are upcoming. Most, just off the top of my head, Johan's got the club championships are coming up. He has a number of other events that are in the pipeline. And again, our goal as a committee is to do everything we can to support him, not only in helping to identify these events, but to figure out the best way we can promote them, gauge interest, and again, the bottom line is to maximize the experience of the residents in our community. So unless Johan, who I think might be there, has anything else he might like to add, I'll leave it at that. Just again to thank the committee for their extraordinarily good work, encourage the board to task us with issues about which they want to be advised about. And then we'll continue to listen to the community to ensure that their thoughts and views and concerns make their way up to the grown-up table. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Ralph. Johan, you have something?
Yeah, just a couple of quick words. It's a kind of a mutual admiration society. It's been a pleasure so far to work with the committee as it stands right now, and with the board as well. So I just want to give you a quick idea. We talk a lot about numbers during our committee meetings. We talk about court utilization and cancellations and all these things. But I want to give you an idea as a board of where we stand as far as active tennis players. And so for the year of 2022, we had a total of 575 unique residents playing on our courts. When I inherited this program 4 years ago, I inherited a mailing list of about 360 emails. That was the only thing I had to go on as far as judging how many players we had. We were on a paper and pencil board reservation system back then. So now we have the blessing of the sport reserve system where we can actually track these numbers. As a measure of comparison, because I not only do the tennis part, we have 663 active pickleball players play on our courts last year, also all residents. Those doesn't add necessarily, you can't add those two numbers. We have 965 unique residents playing on our courts combined. So what that tells me is there's about 270 or so players that play both tennis and pickleball. I think that's pretty amazing. And I think to some extent, the double duty of some of these players has taken a little bit of pressure off the tennis courts. So net, adding the pickleball courts into the equation hasn't really added more pressure to the tennis courts. It's kind of kept it the same. Do we need more tennis courts? Yes. Do we need more pickleball courts? Yes. Do we have an awesome tennis community that uses a facility almost to the max? Yes. And for that, I'm so very thankful. That's it for me.
Thank you.
That's a question. The numbers you just gave, does that include like visitors that play one time or something, or?
These are all residents. These are all residents, either renters or tenants.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be a house guest that come visit and play, or local guests that would come as a guest. So if you add those into the mix, the number would be. These are actual residents They were either classified as tenants or residents. So thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank
Other
you.
questions?
Everyone? No,
Yeah, I
thank
need
you.
to ask.
Yeah.
John, what is the cancellation, numbers? Is it huge? Is it people who book 4, 5, 6 courts and then the night before the day of, they can't fill them?
It's quite a variety of that. We do have a large amount of cancellations. To a good number, there are cancellations that somebody canceled at 11 o'clock court because at 9:30 became available. So sometimes a cancellation becomes another reservation.
Yeah.
So it's a mix. The number of last minute cancellations is minimal.
Thank you. Comment from the board on this, I will say that the tennis committee, which is among the busiest of the advisory committees to the board in this community, has never been better organized or more productive. And we are grateful for their work. Okay, item 10, new business, 10.1, approval of rate increase for fitness program. So we'll have a motion and a second, and then we'll have discussion. May I have a motion to approve the suggested rate increases for the fitness program?
Motion to approve.
Second. Oh, no. So first, any board comment on this? Any board comment on the fitness program rate increases?
Yeah, I mean, it's about time. And I think due diligence was done to come up with the numbers that Patrick Webb came up with. When I say due diligence, and we looked at other comparable clubs, realized we were sort of at the bottom of the barrel. He did talk with Paul about different numbers, and this is a modest increase. And I'll turn to Patrick, who's in the room, if there's anything you wanted to talk to the board about. Pretty self-explanatory, but if there's any questions.
Let's just say, do we have any audience questions for Patrick? Well, he's here on this issue.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
Hey, Patrick.
What was the question?
Patrick, can you sit at the microphone so people hear you?
What was?
Wanted to know if we were going to add more class. You know, as we progress through the season, I'm adding more classes. It's really difficult right now to find qualified instructors. Finding the instructors we have, and they're teaching other places as well. I have a gal who works for me in the morning at 7:45. She's actually the director of fitness over at David Stanley Fitness. She works in. She told me the same thing. She's asking me where to find instructors. They're having difficulty there as well. But you know, as we go, I would say that the group fitness program is like a tree. Just keep having to grow it and just hold on to good instructors, get rid of the worst ones. And when an instructor is popular with our residents, I try to give them more classes. And also, when they have more attendance, they're the pay is structured so they're incentivized to have more people in their classes as we go along. So we will add classes that like. But it's here. You know, it's the best class we have, in my opinion. It's just been a hard sell for people in the beginning because it's difficult. You know, they perceive it as difficult, and it's really not. It's really geared to your own needs. We'll probably, as soon as they're getting Levi, I have to get Levi at the beginning of the season. You know, otherwise he's obligated elsewhere. So, they're not demanding more. Well, I do get some demands, I have to say. I don't get demands, I get questioned, and we paid them the same rate for 15 years. So never was a profit center. We always try to break even in group fit. That's the whole goal, is to break even. We're not just not trying to make money.
That's correct. We're not trying to make money. Trying not to lose one.
Yes, with all the, you know, with group fitness thing. Group fitness, that was the obligation the board I made, you know, our goal was to break even.
Also, the revenue we do make from fitness offsets the need for the operational expenses on the maintenance fee, so that offsets that maintenance fee cost.
We do make some money, and I mean, in that center from personal training, mostly, and The foundation takes 30% of what the trainers bring in. And that part of that goes towards, that's where you see a profit in fitness. The instructor, the group fitness instructors are independent contractors, I should point out. And the prices we charge for personal training are dictated by them. They're an independent contractor. If I have an independent contractor who comes in and says, I want to charge $100 an hour, I have to put in the menu to that person $100 an hour. They don't have customers. I don't, what grade I suppose how the personal training. That's why that pricing, the pricing we have there is been kind of agreed upon. It's a just paid price from our, and they can discount themselves as they want as well. It's up to the instructor.
Thanks, Patrick. Okay,
Paul, is there any questions online?
Let me see. No.
all in favor of the rate increase, requested rate increase, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. 10.2, approval of the design review committee written report. I have a motion to accept this report as written.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Any board member comments? Any resident comments? We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. We are adjourned.